Doctor Strange 2 may have found its director. Indiana Jones 5 is still happening, apparently. We also talk a bunch of Disney Plus news and more on You Heard with Nerds.
Hey everyone, welcome into the podcast. I'm Brett.
I'm Dorian.
And we're in our weekly show number 9.
Number 9.
I hate odd numbers, so I'm hoping to get to 10 really quick.
Real quick.
No, but thank you guys for supporting us. Make sure you check out our Patreon, where you can throw some dollars at that support, so we can update the quality of these. We want to make them better for you guys. We want to do more content. And so it's patreon.com/withnerds. Go ahead and check us out. Support us there. Super easy to get set up. Super easy to donate. We just really appreciate it.
Yep.
So we got a lot of news.
So what is going on in the world of news, Brett?
Well, the Super Bowl happened.
It sure did.
And thank the Lord the Kansas City Chiefs won.
Yep.
I'm a Mahomes fan. I'm not a Kansas City fan, but Andy Reid was a coach in Green Bay for a while, but so I'm appreciative of them winning. I like it.
You got some association ties with it.
Yeah, and I like Mahomes. He's a young, more athletic Aaron Rodgers. Mm-hmm. Anyway, but with the Super Bowl, we had a kind of a bombshell of a trailer from Disney Plus.
Yeah, just 30 seconds.
This is a tease of a bunch of the shows that are going to be happening here.
Which happened to feature Winter Soldier and Falcon, which, we knew that was coming. That's a no-brainer, but the surprise was
Bucky cut his hair.
He did cut his hair, yes.
I don't like it.
I don't either, but but I think the surprise was, Loki.
Yeah.
We actually got a little bit of footage of Loki, and we also got about a half of that trailer was like WandaVision, or maybe like 10 seconds of it.
I would say that's the most of all of that. It was like the most footage we got was from WandaVision, which actually looks pretty interesting.
It does, yeah. It looks like they are going to go with possibly, I could be way off my mark on this assumption, but it looks like they could be possibly going very meta, just because they're pulling from sitcoms from the 50s, 60s, 70s, and 80s.
Brady Bunch, you see
Leave It to Beaver, Family Ties and all that.
I think part of this is this. I think this TV show is literally going to take place basically in Wanda's head.
Yeah, I think so.
And so it'll be interesting to see how this ties in with other stuff, because this is supposed to set up Phase 4.
This is supposed to set up Phase 4, and it's also supposed to be a precursor to Doctor Strange 2.
Right.
So
dipping into the multiverse type of stuff.
Right. I kind of wonder if this is going to be her finding out, or really actually exploring the whole reality bending that she's known for in the comics, because we haven't seen that in the movies so far.
Not so much. Yeah, she's manipulated people's minds like she did in Age of Ultron when she was bad or whatever.
Yeah.
But I think this is going to be a new, and maybe after Endgame, she discovered maybe more of what she could do when it comes to the reality bending and all that stuff. Mm-hmm. And so maybe she's because of her loss of vision and all that, she kind of recedes back into her own mind and starts building these this false reality around herself,
right? Just as a way
to where I heard
cope
she's
with and grieve, essentially,
right?
Yeah,
because I heard she might be, or is rumored to be, kind of the villain of Doctor Strange 2.
Really?
Yeah. So I'm thinking
her powers might get to the point where
she can't control them, and she can't tell what's real, what's not, and that's where someone who has powers that are also kind of more magic based and can bend realities is Doctor Strange. So I think he's going to be delving into that to maybe help her, or she's the villain and he has to take her down. Yeah, don't know what that's going to look
villain or catalyst, however. It's going to go down.
Yeah, whatever you want to call it. She's going to have to be helped out at least by Doctor Strange.
Yeah, exactly. No, it'll be interesting, but there's also we'll probably talk a little bit more in detail about Doctor Strange 2 later on in the show, but there's also that one guy. He was one of the sorcerers that decides to go rogue towards the end.
Oh yeah.
So he's probably going to make an
appearance
somewhere. So he
hasn't been anywhere since that movie.
No. So I would imagine he's going to play a part in it some way, shape, or form.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, my wife really wants to see this. I'm more interested in the WandaVision thing because of, just kind of doing more research of this is setting up kind of phase 4, and phase 4 is going to be more centered, like at least story arc wise, around the multiverse. So I don't know how that's going to get tied in. I also heard it's going to be more cosmic oriented, so hopefully characters like Silver Surfer.
Yeah.
I mean, Christian Bale, I guess, was rumored to be playing him potentially too.
But he's apparently going to be in Thor
I know,
Thor
like
Love and Thunder potentially, but we'll see.
But I mean, yeah, that's the rumor. But I'm saying he might be playing Silver Surfer in that movie.
Interesting.
And maybe ushering in kind of the
kind of more the space cosmic side of the Marvel universe.
Because we've seen it with Guardians, but it hasn't really been a focal point in a while since Guardians 1 or 2 probably,
and Thor Ragnarok but
yeah, and that's almost even more like mythical than it is like space itself and like going to like far reaches of space.
Well, I'm talking more when he's like on the arena planet. And
I guess that's true. Yeah,
and then you got a little bit with that with Infinity War, a little bit.
Yeah, you did
with Thanos, and like you have
the different planets, having to travel to
different planets, exactly. So. Yeah, no. So it'll be interesting. And I mean, obviously Captain Marvel is
she's cosmic, yeah.
She is cosmic. She is also going to be probably a pretty important part of the MCU. And as we saw, spoiler alert for Spider-Man Far From Home, but we see the Skrulls essentially maybe doing like a Secret Invasion type storyline.
Yeah. I think maybe it's because they kind of did a 180 from what we've known the Skrulls to be.
Right, yeah.
But I wonder if it's like,
well, maybe.
Just kidding. They're actually evil.
Well, right, because they might have like essentially like turned on, the people of Earth or humanity, just because like in Captain Marvel, they are painted more as like sympathetic people, essentially like refugees.
Right.
That are just trying to like, leave and go somewhere else. And now it's like they might turn to doing something else here because of their own selfish gain here or whatnot, or
it could
for the
be
survival of their people or something.
I mean, the reason for, I can't remember the Skrull's name, basically. The lead Skrull played by
Ben Mendelsohn.
Filling in for Fury.
Yeah.
And Fury being on a ship somewhere far away.
Right.
I think obviously Nick Fury probably told him to fill in for him, so they didn't think anything was up, and I'm sure there's some bigger threat that they're trying to figure something out for. I don't know.
I would imagine so. Yeah, I mean maybe it's like Galactus that they're preparing for, or something like that. Because
it'd be interesting if they brought him in.
Because the only other villains I could really think of that would really
Kang.
Well, I don't know about Kang. I mean, I don't know much about him, so I can't really speak to that. But in terms of like making it like a big Thanos type villain, I think of Apocalypse. I think of Galactus, and maybe Doctor Doom if he really tricks himself out.
No, I think Doom will be a setup piece for something bigger.
You think so?
Yeah, like I don't know. I don't see a human. I don't know. Maybe Doom could. Maybe he could be like the political piece that holds all these bad guys together. But it's going to have to be like a collective group of them. It's not just going to be Doctor Strange.
Essentially like Legion of Doom.
Yeah, exactly.
Or something similar to that. Yeah, because I mean, I know of storylines where Doom does go and like he makes big trouble where everybody in the Marvel universe has to go and intervene or stop him here, because he, essentially at one point he gets I think like godlike powers or something like that, and they have to bring him down.
Go Super Saiyan?
I think he does.
Oh, okay.
I don't know, but
I think this next kind of arc of Marvel is going to be interesting because I really don't know what they're going to do with it. But we're starting here at WandaVision, which is kind of a weird spot to be, but then Doctor Strange 2 and all that stuff, and so something we're kind of both interested in is like, what are they going to do with Loki as far as his show and what they're going to, and essentially he's dead in the real universe.
Yeah, he's dead in the.
But are they gonna pull like a Crisis on Infinite Earths type of thing,
and
where
like have them
he's just back
merged?
because the multiverse is blended together or something like that?
Oh, excuse me. I don't know. I think.
Because really, why do we need this show?
I think it's mostly just because
People like him.
well, people like him. I mean, you remember back, I think when like Thor: The Dark World came out, people were petitioning for a Loki standalone movie,
Yeah.
and I think this is kind of like their way of like fulfilling that like fan
Fan
want.
service?
Fan service. Yeah, exactly.
Does
But
Disney do that?
what are the odds? But
Never tell me the odds.
Yep. But anyhow, so I think with the Loki show, I mean, I think me personally, I think what they're going to probably try to do is like probably keep it separate from the main universe, just because here's the thing, like Thor is kind of off doing his own thing. And if you have like Thor of a different timeline, that Loki has to bounce off of, and that they have their relationship in the more traditional sense that from the comics, where they're enemies, but they still have the family tie together and all that. Kind of like before, how things were before when they patched things up in Ragnarok.
Yeah.
So
yeah, the way I'm viewing this from the minimal footage we have is kind of like a heist/breakout show.
Right, because for those of you who don't know, the going theory online, because you see Loki in the footage wearing like a kind of like almost like a prison outfit.
Yeah, it's a prison outfit
with a logo on it, and apparently the logo. This is something I'm unfamiliar with, so I'm just kind of going off of what people tell me on the internet. It's part of the Time Variance Authority, which essentially is like the guardians of like the Marvel Universe timeline. They're time cops, basically.
Time cops.
So, yeah. So, anyhow, continue your train of thought. You were saying like it's going to be a heist breakout movie.
I'm guessing people are going to some of his confidants are going to kind of try to break him out, or he's going to figure out a way to break out, and he's going to be on the run type of thing.
Yeah, kind of like a fugitive movie. Or,
yeah, like Prison Break, the show.
Yeah, exactly.
Pretty much that, but Marvel.
Exactly. Now, it's kind of interesting to me just because, apparently the MCU has its version of like these time cops, right? Mm-hmm. Where were they in the end of Doctor Strange when he's like rewinding time? And where were they in Avengers Endgame?
I don't know.
Because I think those guys did a lot more to mess up
they changed everything.
The timeline than Loki ever did, because Loki just got away. That's all he did.
Right.
Inadvertently. He didn't even know that he was altering a timeline.
I don't know.
But
I mean, it is what it is, but we'll see kind of what happens, how it plays out. But like you said earlier, I think it's just going to be its own thing. It's not going to be tied into anything else.
Sure.
And if it is, I'll be surprised.
Yeah. So, what were your impressions of like the Falcon and Winter Soldier footage that we got to see? I mean, obviously, like probably about 15 seconds, maybe 20 seconds of footage. Not much to go off.
If that, it's probably more like 10 because they cut it up.
Probably.
I'm excited to see Falcon he's learning this. It seems like he's training with the shield.
Yeah, exactly.
So he is going to be picking the shield up. I was more afraid that he was just going to be Falcon.
Yeah.
I'm guessing
with
the first
shield.
Huh?
Just with a shield?
Well, not even with the shield. I thought, and maybe it's still going to happen, but like where he's just like, I don't want this responsibility of being Captain America. Mm-hmm. And then by the end of the season, he's like, Bucky. No, Steve wanted this. Bucky wants this.
Yeah.
I'm going to take this up.
Yeah.
And I'd hate that Bucky cut his hair.
Yeah, no.
So.
Yeah, exactly.
But that's all I have to say about
that. I mean, so obviously not much to really go off of. What they did show, it does get me more excited and more interested in this show. That being said, I do feel like there is like a little bit of a Winter Soldier vibe to it.
Oh, 100%.
It seems like it's going to be more grounded. Now, one thing that I might be overthinking it, but it might be something that I picked up on. There's that part where Bucky's holding a gun to Baron Zola's, or sorry, not Baron Zola, Zemo's head. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And so it looks like he might be like there might be maybe a conflict of ideologies in this, where Falcon's kind of more of like traditional like morals and values and type of thing, and Bucky's kind of more still kind of clinging on to his anti-hero ways a little bit in terms of like saying, hey, this is how you get results. I can show this is how we can get things done. And
Could be, yeah.
And Falcon's kind of like, no, we kind of have to restrain you a little bit more. So kind of like almost like a Batman and Red Hood type of situation.
Oh yeah, I'm almost banking on that. That's what's gonna be happening.
Yeah.
Falcon definitely floats more towards the Captain America ideology.
Exactly, yeah.
And Bucky's kind of like, I'm going to do what's necessary to get stuff done.
Yeah, pretty much, yeah.
So, yeah, it'll be interesting to see how that plays out.
No, it sure will be.
But we did get the news, too.
Mm-hmm.
Falcon Winter Soldier's coming August for sure.
Yep.
So I'm guessing it's going to go start maybe mid to late August.
Mid to late August.
Go through September.
Yep.
Okay, then we get Mandalorian in October.
Yeah, so we might have like maybe a couple of weeks in between, roughly, somewhere around there, 2 weeks.
I think it's just maybe like a week.
Okay.
And then they'll probably go into the next series. And so we got Mandalorian coming October, and then WandaVision in December.
Right.
And then who knows? We don't have any release date on Loki yet, as far as I know.
Right.
But yeah, it seems like they're kind of. I thought they'd space it out a lot more, to be honest. Like I thought, unless they have other content coming, like they're kind of gonna like throw everything at you at once, and then within like 4 months, basically 5 months,
Yeah.
there's nothing.
Yeah, I mean, it kind of seems like they are trying to nail down a steady stream of shows or original content for people to justify buying the service for a month, or keeping it for a couple of months. Because you were saying that when the Mandalorian ended, that they kind of saw pretty decent drop off of subscribers and whatnot, right?
I mean, I don't know the numbers, but they have, like, if you think about how long Disney Plus has been out versus Netflix, how many subscribers Disney Plus is going to blow them out of the water eventually.
Probably eventually, yeah.
I think they have 26 million subscribers as of now.
Okay. Yeah, that's not bad at all.
And they've been out for less than a year, like since August, basically, right? Is that when it came out?
No, November.
Oh, yeah.
So, yeah. So
it's a baby streaming service, and they have millions upon millions of subscribers. They're not hurting for money. They're not hurting for anything at this point. If you want to talk original content people want, this is the place that people are going to be going.
Yeah.
Unless Netflix really starts developing some stuff.
Yeah, because
they have 2 shows?
I mean, 2 shows
that are popular.
2 shows that are popular right now. Yeah, just The Witcher.
Everything on Disney Plus people wants to watch.
But yeah, that's true. Well, not to mention too, it's some of Netflix's main shows, Stranger Things and The Witcher. They're
not family friendly.
Well, they're not family friendly, but the point I'm trying to make here is we don't know when those shows are coming back.
Oh no, sometime in the next year or two.
Yeah, they pretty much you get a new season like every 2 years. So
yeah, it's
kind of hard to really gauge on how much people are willing to wait around, because typically what I've ended up doing is just, the new season's on. Okay, well, I guess I'll renew my
subscription for the month.
Yeah, my Netflix account for a month, and then after I'm done watching it, that's it.
Yeah, I think that. I mean, here's the deal too. I mean, there's other stuff that's coming. Like, obviously, Loki's coming sometime next year. Mm-hmm. Kenobi's coming sometime next year.
Sure.
Hawkeye. Who knows what's going on with that show?
Yeah.
And there's going to be like other shows that are happening that haven't even been released yet. Like, I'm guessing this summer we're going to get a whole bunch of news for the rest of that year, and then maybe the year to come.
Yeah. Potentially,
we have a really dry spring, basically, as far as content goes.
We have a dry spring, and it seems like it's going to be a dry summer for Disney Plus.
Yeah,
until August rolls around, which we don't even know if that's going to be beginning, mid, or late August. But
I guess we do have Star Wars Clone Wars.
We do, but
I actually heard a rumor Rebels is coming in fall.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, like a lot sooner than we thought.
So that might actually be, that would definitely help things out here. But yeah, I mean, I think it's just a matter of the main thing that Disney Plus needs to do for, I think, to kind of keep people interested or to draw in more people is just to make sure that you're still providing original content. Just because, I mean, don't get me wrong, all the back catalog of Disney shows, movies, all that stuff. It's great. It's a great nostalgia trip here. And I mean, if you have kids, it's absolutely no-brainer, like I've already mentioned. Mm-hmm. However, it's if you're wanting something more new, original, or fresh, Disney Plus is not exactly delivering on that front just quite yet. I mean,
Mandalorian just happened.
no, Mandalorian did, but I mean, it's like,
I know, but like look at Netflix or any other streaming service. They're not doing this much content.
Sure.
They're not.
Sure.
And if they are, it's crappy foreign shows or something like that nobody wants to watch.
Sure.
Like the only other thing I know Netflix is working on, like they have Altered Carbon season 2, which Anthony Mackie is starring in.
Yep.
I didn't watch season 1, but I might just because Anthony Mackie's in it and I like him.
Yeah. But they have Altered Carbon season 2. They also have the deal with Nickelodeon. They also have
but we haven't even seen anything as far as the Avatar series goes, because once that happens, I'm going to be excited and we're going to be talking about it.
Yeah.
But nothing's happening right now.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. It's like, I'm just mostly coming from the point of view that Netflix does have the ability to like kind of be like a little bit more broad catch of like different genres, different things, stuff that it may be kid friendly and stuff that isn't kid friendly, or something that's more geared towards adults, because pretty much most of the content that you're going to get on Disney Plus is going to be kid friendly by and large. There's not going to be any rated R movies. You won't see Logan on there anytime soon. They said there will be no rated R movies on Disney Plus.
We'll see.
All right.
I mean, they did buy rights to certain franchises that would offer up their services to a whole different crowd.
Well, I think.
Well, and maybe it's a different subscription within Disney Plus. Maybe it's like Disney Plus Max or something like that, where it's like, they have different filters for that. I don't know.
I think you just put it on Hulu.
Yeah, because since they own, that's probably what they will do.
Yeah.
So, as far as Disney Plus and Disney goes, Leelo and Stitch live action movie is in the work. Mm-hmm. What do you think about this?
So here's the thing. I'm personally tired of all these.
I'm already tired too.
Yeah, of all these live action Disney remakes trying to capitalize on our childhood.
We got Aladdin, which was fine. We got Lion King, which was fine. We got Mulan coming out.
Beauty and the Beast.
Oh yeah, that was a while ago.
Cinderella was another one.
Maleficent was actually really good.
Yeah, Maleficent came out.
1 and 2.
Yeah. So I mean,
those were like different takes on the story. Like they changed.
Yeah.
Like.
And then, right? Yeah. No.
When you're just doing a shot-for-shot remake, but it's live action, it's like why are we even doing this?
Well, right, because I mean, Maleficent. Correct me if I'm wrong. I haven't seen the movie. Is essentially going from the point of view of the villain here, and like
for the most part, yeah, she's kind of humanized in it.
Exactly, but the story of Sleeping Beauty still happens pretty much in between the scenes here,
right? But
it's like the focus is Maleficent as the main character,
right?
But that being said, yeah, and then we also got the Little Mermaid remake that's going to be happening. Who
cares?
I don't, unless you have Terry Crews as King Triton.
Hey,
because at that point, I feel like that could be almost like you could just take footage from like an Old Spice commercial. Just
pretty much, yeah.
But anyhow, so I mean, that being said, I do think Leelo and Stitch is one of the movies that would actually lend itself better to a live action movie.
Potentially, yeah.
I think so, just because you got like a whole bunch of space aliens and stuff. You have...
Think of the cute little Stitch puppet they could have.
I mean, provided that they do a Stitch puppet here.
I mean, after Baby Yoda, I feel like you have to.
Maybe not. Who
Probably
knows?
Not, yeah.
I mean,
my wife's going to be excited because when she was a kid, this was her jam. She lived in Hawaii.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow, okay.
Yeah.
Did not know that.
Yeah. So they lived there for a year.
Yeah, and so that being said, I mean, unless they feel like spending $5 million on another puppet and like want to like take it down to a surfboard and with the water and everything.
Yeah, it's all gonna be practical effects.
Yeah. So, so here's the thing. I think they are kind of now moving past like the bangers of the 90s here, essentially, like the Aladdin, the Lion King.
I mean, they've hit them almost all.
Yeah, for the most part. So
Toy Story live action.
Oh gosh,
I'm just kidding.
That would be horrifying.
That would be a horror movie.
Yes, it absolutely would. But no, I think they're kind of like getting towards like kind of like the Gen Z nostalgia now here. A little bit. And I think they're going more towards like kind of their stuff from like early to mid 2000s, which I kind of feel like a lot of the movies that they were making right then lent itself better to like live action. Like I think Treasure Planet.
Yeah, that movie's dope.
And Atlantis.
I didn't really care for that one, but I really love Treasure Planet.
Right. But But I just am coming with the mindset thinking that, these movies would probably actually look pretty dang good in, live action if you have like a decent budget behind it.
Well, and like if you look at Treasure Planet, because Treasure Planet's probably one of my favorite animated movies.
Really?
Yeah, like especially growing up.
Okay.
I think because it came out like 99. I want to say maybe 2000.
I want to say like maybe 2002, 2001, somewhere around there, maybe. I don't know.
I remember I was young enough to. I could have been like 12 or 13, I guess, but
yeah.
I mean, it really is a coming of age story for this guy.
Oh,
and
very
it's
much
a
so.
Huge adventure story.
Voiced by Joseph Gordon-Levitt.
Yep, Joseph Gordon-Levitt. But I mean, there's like elements of it where you're like solar surfing and all that stuff. I was like, I want one of those boards. Like,
yeah.
It was just fun. Like, and there's pirates, and I think this could be done very, very well live action.
Yeah.
You can get Justin Bieber to play Jim. And a lot of it too was like Johnny Resnick from the Goo Goo Dolls did the soundtrack, which I loved.
Oh, did he?
Yeah,
okay.
He did Jim's theme and like all like the main kind of big songs you hear. And so
yeah,
if he comes back and does it for that, I think that'd be really cool. But definitely like, especially for someone who was coming of age, like someone like around our age basically at the time, like 12, 13, however we were, or 11.
Yeah.
I think it hits it right on the money. I think this needs to happen if it isn't already in the works.
Sure. And the thing is too on this front here, like I said, I think a lot of their stuff from post 90s animated movies, I think lends itself very well to live action. That being said, I don't want them to continue their strategy that they got going on now, which is essentially shot for shot remake, because
it needs to be different. It needs to offer something to the story, I think.
Well, yeah, because when I was watching Aladdin recently, I saw it for the first time on Disney Plus, and I was just thinking, man, I feel like I could have just watched the animated movie and just got the same exact experience from it. I mean,
have you seen Lion King yet?
I have not.
Okay, so that's worse as far as shot for shot. That's literally shot for shot. Where Aladdin had some new stuff.
It did have a couple new things.
And like, it wasn't like Will Smith's Genie was not trying to be Robin Williams' Genie. He did his own thing, and I thought he did a good job.
To a certain extent, I do feel like he did kind of have a little bit of Robin Williams stick with like kind of pop culture references a little bit here and there, or like kind of bring in like,
that's the character of the Genie, but I mean, like, he wasn't trying to be Robin Williams at all. Yeah. He was being himself, basically.
Yeah.
Now in The Lion King,
it's everybody trying to be.
It's literally shot for shot.
Yeah.
There's nothing new, and so. Honestly, like if they did Treasure Planet, if they added maybe some backstory, like I would be fine with them doing shot for shot of that movie, to be honest, or at least a close rendition of it. I don't want them to deviate too far from the movie.
Sure.
They could add on to it, because they'll probably make it a 2-hour movie instead of hour 20 or whatever animated movies typically are.
Well, yeah, and I mean the thing is like, I mean, if a movie nailed it the first time, like Aladdin or Lion King, because here's the thing, 2D animation, little secret, it holds up very well.
Super well.
Yeah, I mean, 3D animation.
Incredibles 1 is kind of cusping now.
Yeah, no, it most certainly is cusping. But that being said, it's like, yeah, if it nailed it the first time, I don't feel like there's really a need for, it to come back and exist. Like, for example, Aladdin, I don't feel like needed to happen. No. I don't think Beauty and the Beast needed to happen. I don't think The Lion King needed to happen. Now, Treasure Planet, I think there's a lot to that you could actually explore, delve into more, have like new sequences and all that, because I mean, it's a treasure hunting movie. You can have different like traps. Maybe they go to like multiple planets instead of just the one planet, like in the second half of the movie, I think is what they get to.
The actual like treasure planet.
Yeah, the actual treasure planet.
They have Jim's homeworld, and then they are on the ship for a majority of the time.
Right, but I'm saying like they're actually following like clues and treasure maps and like going to different planets and getting stuff here.
I mean, it's a kids movie, and like if they were to adapt it to like a PG-13 live action, there could be a lot more of that.
Exactly. So that's just my thoughts on it.
Yeah, and I think a lot of these could even be Disney Plus exclusives. Like, who's to say that we can't have Disney Plus movies that aren't great like that,
Well, I mean, yeah, and it's also one of those things.
Because if you let's just back up real quick. If you took Treasure Planet's name and threw it out there, there's not a ton of people who are gonna be like, yeah, I saw that as a kid. Like, maybe there is, maybe there isn't. But I would say, like, especially boys, like, we knew what that was.
Sure,
but
yeah.
as far as, like, putting it in the same category as, like, those other 90s movies, it's not even close.
No, it's not. It's not. It does not have that level of prestige. Now, if you make like a nice high production value, something that people are really going to want to see, and if you put it on Disney Plus, which I would imagine you will probably get, like, Disney probably might make more money if they put it on Disney Plus, just because you don't have to cut the theaters in on
profits.
Profits, exactly.
Yeah, I think that's the model they might go with like a lot of these in the future. We could get some of these movies we didn't think we're gonna get.
Yeah.
And they'll end up on Disney Plus, which I'm okay with because I have Disney Plus.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, continuing in some kind of Disney Marvel type of news. Sam Raimi may be directing Doctor Strange sequel, and I actually looked today, and I think he's actually like pretty much confirmed.
Like, okay,
like at least the article I was reading, I don't know the validity of it.
Sure.
But all signs point to Sam Raimi directing Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness.
Okay. Wow. So I'm a little conflicted on this news because here's the thing. He's good at horror, which from what we've been told about this movie, it is supposed to have kind of more of a scary horror type vibe to it. That being said, I personally don't think he's great at making superhero movies.
Yeah, and I would agree because Spider-Man 3 was trash.
Have you seen Spider-Man 1 or 2
recently? No.
You probably need to go back and watch it because
I'm sure it doesn't stand up to the current Spider-Man movies at all.
It's kind of one of those things where you go back and watch them and they kind of feel like almost just as bad as Spider-Man 3 in terms of like just the cheesiness and quality.
Oh, I'm sure there's cheese in it.
Oh, big time.
So yeah, I actually think he might be perfect for this movie because it is going to be a horror movie. PG-13 horror movie is what Kevin Feige was saying.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe he's perfect, maybe he's not. There's also rumors of Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man coming into this because it is multiverse.
Yeah.
And if you look at like the Sony stuff, so the shot in the Morbius trailer with the picture of Spider-Man that says murderer across it, that suit is not Tom Holland's suit.
Oh, is it not?
No.
Huh.
That looks like, to me at least, and what other people are saying too, Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man suit.
Interesting.
So that could play into the multiverse as well. I don't know. I think it'd be interesting, and this could set up a live-action Spider-Verse movie.
Yeah, which, I mean...
I don't really need it, but I'm saying it might happen.
I mean, I don't know if I really want a live-action Spider-Verse movie just because I recently just rewatched Spider-Verse.
It's so good.
No, it's very good. But one of the things I think that makes it, something very one of those movies that's very rewatchable is the fact the animation. Because it's just, like, you can pause like any part in that movie.
Art.
It's art. You could put that as your desktop background and nobody would question it just because it looks so good.
Right.
And no, it's absolutely awesome. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. It's kind of one of those things where it's I don't know how to feel about it just because, I mean, yeah, sure. Tobey Maguire coming back as Spider-Man. I mean,
weird.
It's weird. I mean, you could definitely play that, make it meta and kind of hilarious, but at the same time, I don't know. It probably would just break the internet, break everybody's mind and stuff, and everybody would be like, okay, so what exactly does this actually mean? Like, are we actually going to get, Tobey Maguire more stuff? Is this just a cameo, or like, how is this going to all play out here?
I think it could play into the multiverse theme that they're trying to establish. Like, there are other Spider-Mans in other worlds. There are other people in other worlds.
Yeah.
I think that's really all it would be. And, Sam Raimi and Tobey Maguire have some history. So it'd be kind of cool for him to bring him back for a little bit, whether that's a cameo, whether that's a small role, whatever that might be.
Yeah. Now, here's a crazy thing that just, or a crazy idea that just came to me. Spider-Verse 2 is happening, right?
Yeah.
So what if when they go to like different multiverses,
there's a real world
there's a real world one.
There's rumors of that, yeah.
That I think that would be kind of hilarious.
And you saw everyone in like a real world.
Yeah.
I mean, realistically, like, I'm trying. You could just get the actors, that voice actors, to play them.
I mean, you just put them in Spider-Man suits.
Yeah, they look similar. Like the guy that plays Miles is a little bit older, obviously, but he's African American. And then you got people like, gosh, I always forget his.
Nick.
Yeah, the guy plays Nick. What's his first name?
I have no idea.
His last name's Johnson.
But Nick from New Girl.
Yeah, he plays the older Spider-Man, from a different universe. So, I mean, there's possibilities.
Yeah. No, absolutely. Well, I mean, again, you can always get away with it just by putting them in like super suits here and just covering their face.
Sure, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then also Captain Marvel 2 may be introducing an X-Men character.
Yeah.
Now, I don't care at all about Captain Marvel 2.
No, I do not whatsoever here. Like I said, I think it's the weakest MCU movie.
It is, I think, by far.
Yeah.
Introducing Rogue. And this makes sense for her origin.
It does, yes.
For those of you who don't know, in the comics, Captain Marvel as well as and Rogue kind of have a... So Rogue's power, she can absorb other people's powers through touch.
Right.
Now, usually it's only for a limited amount of time.
Mm-hmm.
She basically touches Captain Marvel and absorbs too much, I think, is what happens basically. And her power is more overwhelming than most people.
Right.
And so, but then she's basically, from then forward, as far as I know, able to fly and have kind of super strength. Yeah. Those are powers she always holds on to. I think it'd be fitting.
Yeah.
It would be, honestly, probably the best way to introduce the X-Men universe, I think. At least giving us a tease into it and slowly working its way in, and then through Rogue, maybe Rogue gets her own little Disney Plus series, or she sets up, maybe, I'm guessing at the end of it, maybe there's an X-Men tease, maybe she goes and sees Xavier because she can't control these powers.
Maybe Rogue is being set up for a Gambit movie because her and Gambit
are a thing. Yeah,
they are a thing. So, I mean, well, so do we have any idea when Captain Marvel 2 is supposed to be coming out? I think it's is that
probably 22 or 23, I'm guessing.
Because I'm trying to think what's the cutoff for phase 4 and phase 5, because they said that Guardians is going to be a phase 5 movie.
I'm guessing it's 2 or 3 years.
Okay. So that being said, I don't know. I mean, to me, this seems maybe a little bit early if you're going to be introducing. Maybe not. I mean, they have definitely introduced characters in other movies way before they actually got their own movie or whatnot.
Oh, totally.
Black Widow and Iron Man 2.
Yeah.
Hawkeye and Thor and stuff. Or introduce characters.
They have done it before. That's kind of, I guess, what you're getting to, right?
Pretty much,
It's not unheard of for them to throw these big characters in.
It's not unheard of. So they could. I mean, I'm not entirely sure how it's going to fit in with the story, just because I think what they're going to probably try to focus on is kind of more of the Skrulls and the cosmic element of the MCU as well. So
I mean, this is just a rumor at this point. So yeah, we'll see, I guess.
We will.
More Disney news. Indiana Jones 5. It's still happening, even though Harrison Ford is 112 years old.
Basically, yeah.
So what did you hear about this story?
So Kathleen Kennedy, I guess, said in a earnings call or press release, I'm not entirely sure exactly what was going on, but she spoke with the press recently and saying that it is still happening. Harrison Ford is still set to reprise his role as Indiana Jones. And it's not a reboot, it's a continuation. So this is going to be a sequel in Indiana Jones 5 for all intents and purposes. You have an opinion on this?
Yeah, I think it should be a reboot, number one.
Yeah.
Mainly because this is a franchise that is almost, in my opinion, it's, 2 to 3 generations at least removed. Besides the Crystal Skull movie, but I don't remember people talking about that. I saw it. I thought it was okay.
No, people try not to talk about that one. That's kind of like the episode 1 of the Indiana Jones saga here. And Phantom Menace, I should say.
I just think that it's not on the. I don't think it's on the same scale as Star Wars.
No, it is not.
So I was kind of. I mean, I'm fine with whatever they decide to do. Realistically. The Kingdom Skull movie was supposed to be kind of a soft reboot.
Kinda,
in a way because
yeah.
Shia's character was rumored to be coming in to kind of take over the mantle of Indiana Jones as his son.
Well, yeah, because there is that moment towards the end of Crystal Skull where Indy's hat gets blown by the wind.
And he puts it on. Yeah,
Well,
type of
and
thing.
he's about to put it on, but then
he hands it back.
Well, Harrison Ford just takes it out of his hand because he's about to put it on. He's like, "No, that's my hat."
Yeah, I remember that because I was like, "Oh, he's the new Indiana Jones."
Yeah, he's
And
like,
then
"No,
they're
not yet." But no, because initially when Crystal Skull came out, I was thinking, okay, so this movie is you're reintroducing the character, you're reintroducing his son, you're getting him married to the original girl that he had in Raiders of the Lost Ark.
Yep.
Now the fifth movie is going to be more about him actually, kind of patching up the relationship with his son and actually kind of maybe coming to terms and having like a father-son bonding moment here,
Right.
or bonding movie, because in Crystal Skull, you don't find out that he's his son till like maybe halfway through the movie, and then they kind of just get caught up in everything that's going on.
Yeah. Yeah. There's just been a lot of these movies lately where it's all nostalgia based, and I'm just kind of
big
over
time.
it.
Yeah, because
like we've talked about what movies.
So Rambo,
Yeah.
Terminator,
Yep.
Lethal Weapon's coming back.
Yep.
Even like Alien had like a
They had another kind of reboot type thing.
reboot movie. But yeah, so I mean, this movie was originally supposed to come out this July.
Yeah.
Obviously, that's not happening.
No.
They're still working on the script. I mean, they probably have to do it fairly soon because Harrison Ford is 77 years old.
Yeah.
And, this is also probably going to have to be the last Indiana Jones movie that you do because...
At least with him.
Yeah, at least with him. Now, Harrison Ford has gone on record and says, yeah, there's not going to be anybody else that plays Indiana Jones. When I'm gone, he's gone here. So
That's not up to him.
that's what he said.
I mean, anyone can say anything though.
I mean, I don't know how much stock he has in like the Indiana Jones
Probably zero.
franchise. Who knows?
Yeah.
But that being said, it's so I mean, if this is going to be Harrison Ford's last movie as Indiana Jones, I feel like this movie is going to be very fan servicey because
like other movies that have come out recently.
yeah, exactly. So, and I mean, it's Disney shtick. They kind of do that. They also, they want to have it'll be a send off type thing. My question is, will Shia make an appearance? Because the thing is originally they were supposed to do Indiana Jones 5 a lot earlier than right now.
Yeah.
It's been about 10 years since Kingdom of the Crystal Skull had come out. They also, this was before they were even purchased by Disney. Mm-hmm. So, that being said, Shia LaBeouf's status on like where he will be or what he'll be doing, is now completely, like a question mark. We don't know what's going on. It's a mystery.
Right.
I think it's hard to say just because I think initially it was going to be more of a if Disney would let him come back versus like if Shia wanted to come back here type thing. And I think kind of where Shia LaBeouf is right now, maybe 50-50 chance. I don't know. What do you think?
My final thoughts on this, like, because I think it'd be hard to get Spielberg and George Lucas back as well.
Yeah.
You kind of, you touched on that a little in the notes, but I don't think they will, which, I mean, maybe as one last hurrah.
Yeah.
But my opinion is Shia won't come back and this movie's going to suck.
You're probably right.
Yeah. So, yeah. So in other news, we have some Nintendo news, some game talk here.
Yeah.
The Smash director himself
Yep.
speaks out about Byleth controversy. Now, we talked about this.
Yeah, we've talked about it for a couple of weeks now here.
What happened? What did he say?
So there's a Japanese magazine that is a gaming magazine called Famitsu Magazine. Pretty well renowned over there. Basically, in an interview, Sakurai says he was talking about kind of like how there's an oversaturation of Fire Emblem characters. And he said that, yeah, I know it as well. There are too many Fire Emblem characters. There are too many swordsmen. But when something's decided, I move ahead with it. New fighters aren't decided by my preference, but they are put forward by Nintendo.
So he doesn't necessarily have the creative freedom that people thought he might have.
Yeah, I definitely think he does have some input because, I mean, here's the thing. He is the guy that has to design the fighters. If he can't, like, make a good fighter out of a character, like, let's say Nintendo says, hey, we want you to make a fighter out of the Tetris block.
You're like, sorry.
What am I going to do with that? You know, exactly. So, I mean, I think he does have some input, but I mean, I think, but it kind of seems like, you know, it's kind of more of a corporate decision than a you know, just a personal creative decision.
Yeah.
Which makes me really want to hear Nintendo's rationale on a few things because, for one, it seems like with what they've done with like most of the fighters, it seems like they're trying to say, okay, let's get some, you know, let's reach out to people who aren't necessarily on our platform or who aren't necessarily Nintendo fans to buy this game. So we'll get our Persona 5 people, we'll get our Dragon Quest people, we'll get our Banjo-Kazooie people, and our SNK people, basically, and coming to our console and buying our game. And then you got Byleth, which seems like this is more of Nintendo doing self-promotion of like
pretty much
their own stuff. Because I mean, the thing is, Byleth, you know, not a bad character. I mean, but he's definitely a character that feels like he could have been originally put in the game from the very start, and there would have been no difference whatsoever. He doesn't feel like he
doesn't add anything new to the game.
Nothing new, nothing special. Kind of like how we've gotten with this latest or like the most recent batch of the previous DLC characters.
Right.
So,
yeah, and I would say I totally agree. Like, and as far as like this article, I'm kind of like, well, duh. Like everyone knows that there's too many of these characters in the game.
Yeah. My question is if Sakurai knows this, and if he told like, you know, brought this up like with Nintendo, does this mean that like we will get like little to no swordsmen in our next DLC wave?
I'm guessing not as many, at least.
Yeah.
So, yeah, we'll see. I don't know. We're going to take a quick break, and we'll be right back with Roundtable Review. All right, we're back from our commercial break. Dorian, take it away with our Roundtable Review.
All right, so you've been reading the Ninja Turtles and Power Rangers crossover.
Of course I have, Dorian.
Of course
How dare you ask? Two of my favorite franchises of all time.
Yep, exactly. So how has this comic run been going so far? Has it been like good? Has it been interesting?
I mean, it's definitely like fun. Like you have the Power Rangers and the Ninja Turtles teaming up.
Yeah.
You know, like
what more do you want?
Yeah, exactly. So the last issue I read was issue 3, where in the previous issue I talked about Shredder gets the green power coin in the morpher from Tommy somehow. He kind of imposes his will on it and morphs into the Green Ranger, you know, but he's like shreddered out.
Yeah, I've seen the suit. It looks absolutely dope.
Oh yeah, the Shredder, I call him the Shredder Ranger.
Yeah.
He looks dope. And we get a little bit more Tommy background, which, like, here's the deal. I have not read hardly any of the comics. The only runs I've read, I read a couple of the Shattered Grid ones because I thought Lord Draken was dope.
Yeah.
But at least we get an idea. He's like, Tommy's from the streets. He was adopted. His friend Tyler sold him out. That got him captured by Shredder, basically.
Okay.
The Rangers end up fighting the Green Shredder. They get teleported to kind of the Ninja Turtle area, which is New York.
Right. Now they're still sharing the same universe here, right?
It's hard to understand.
Okay.
I don't know if it kind of, in my opinion, has to be.
Okay.
Because you have characters like Tommy's friend joining the Foot. And so that's what Tommy kind of went undercover to kind of get his friend back that he grew up with.
Yeah, no, that makes sense.
They're just different,
just different
geographic
cities.
Locations.
Yeah.
So they fight the Green Shredder Ranger, and somehow he creates some kind of disturbance in the morphing grid that makes them demorph. So they're getting their butts kicked. Casey Jones shows up.
Yeah.
For those of you who knew Casey Jones, he's one of the allies of the Ninja Turtles. He's a human. He fights crime with a hockey mask and like golf clubs and croquet.
Quick side note.
Yeah.
I was just thinking about this the other day. How weird is it that Stephen Amell was Casey Jones?
I totally forgot he was until you just said that, to be honest.
No, I did too. And I was like, oh, yeah, he was that. That was so weird.
And the second Ninja Turtles from like the Michael Bay era.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm kind of honestly, this is a complete side note. I'm hoping they just reboot the Turtle movies.
Oh, I 100% agree with you. I mean, I think they probably will at this point.
Yeah.
I think one of the ways you make it good, maybe get James Gunn on it.
Yeah.
Set it in the 90s.
Yeah.
But
Anyhow,
anyhow,
that'd be cool.
Anyhow, I digress. Continue.
But so the Rangers demorph. They get their butts kicked. Casey Jones shows up. The Rangers retreat to the command center. So basically, there's a disturbance, and Alpha couldn't get them teleported because the Shredder, it serves the plot line. So the Shredder was beating them up.
Mm-hmm.
So they demorph. They're thinking it's their morphers. Something's wrong with all their morphers.
Yeah.
Or the morphing grid itself. Find out from Zordon, they go back because they're back in their command center, that their morphers work fine. Yeah. Shredder just made it so they specifically can't morph.
Okay.
So the Power Rangers couldn't use the power coins and stuff.
So
then, this is a spoiler, obviously. All this is spoilers, sorry. Mm-hmm. The book ends with the Turtles holding the morphers.
Oh, no.
So we're going to get some morphed Ninja Turtles.
Oh, no. So Ninja Turtle Rangers.
We're selling some serious toys right here.
Yeah, you are.
Yeah.
Jeez.
I mean, both franchises are owned by Nickelodeon.
Oh, are they?
Yeah.
Is Power Rangers now?
Yeah, they're Nickelodeon. They've been Nickelodeon for probably, I don't know, 5-6 seasons, maybe, since 2012, I think.
Okay.
Yeah, Haim Saban sold it to Nickelodeon.
Okay, interesting.
Yeah, so...
I was unaware.
Yeah, so, but yeah, it ends and Leo's got the Triceratops morpher for the Blue Ranger. Mm-hmm. You don't see what the other Rangers get. I'm guessing Raphael has Jason's morph for the Red Ranger. Michelangelo maybe have the Yellow Ranger's morpher. And then Donatello, Pink Ranger. I don't know, to be honest.
That'd be hilarious.
Well, and I don't know if April's kind of in the shot, so I'm guessing because there's 5 of them. I'm guessing she gets probably the Pink Ranger, but then maybe Donnie gets the Black Ranger.
Hard to say. Yeah.
We'll see. I mean, it's very interesting concept. I want to see what they look like morphed. So I'll pick up the 4th issue for sure. I think this is only a 4-issue run. So. Oh,
okay. So now have they fought the Rangers yet? Because
the Ninja Turtles?
Yeah.
Yeah, they did in the first issue.
Okay, yeah. Because
then they teamed up after that.
Yeah, because they did pretty much the same thing with like the Batman Ninja Turtles team up where they met Batman at first. They fought. They thought they were enemies, and then
they become buddies.
Yeah, then they become buddies. They do karate in the basement.
Yeah, it's just something we do.
Yep. Now, here's a crazy idea. So. Obviously, Batman and Ninja Turtles have teamed up.
Yeah.
Power Rangers and Ninja Turtles have teamed up.
Mm-hmm.
Also, Power Rangers and Justice League had like a crossover event not too long ago as well.
Yeah.
Are we going to get a DC, Power Rangers, and Ninja Turtles crossover?
I don't know, but if we do, I need to figure out time travel and go back to my 10-year-old self and hey, guess what, kid?
Yeah.
You just got to wait 20 years and it's coming, okay?
Yeah.
Every superhero you ever loved will be in
all
one place.
Yep, just hanging out,
being buddies.
Yep, exactly.
I mean, we definitely could get that. I think it's interesting, kind of these different properties lending themselves to other properties because Boom Studios is the one doing Power Rangers, Ninja Turtles. IDW, I think, was the one that did Batman, Ninja Turtles.
Right. Yeah.
So I don't know. I don't know how this works.
Yeah, I mean. You definitely have to, nail down your who your studio is going to be and whatnot. But no, it's interesting.
Yeah, it was a fun read. I dug it, especially if you like Ninja Turtles or Power Rangers. Check it out.
Yeah,
yeah. I really like the reading it on my Kindle. I know that might be sacrilegious for some people because they like I'm a physical books guy. Comics, it's a different story because it's really hard to store comics. Like
it is, yeah.
And so I'm like, oh, this is perfect. And you can go, but like sometimes it's really hard and convoluted to read the comics. based on like.
It can, yeah, and you have the option to zoom up and like
Yeah, so you could click on basically the way Kindle can work with the digital comics is it goes like frame by frame basically.
Yeah.
So it's pretty cool.
Well, and not to mention too is like some people or some of the artists on the comics might have like a lot of detail that they put into the comics or like
it's overwhelming
little
sometimes.
things, and so something that allows you to like zoom in and like kind of soak it all in is great.
Yeah, but yeah, I really enjoyed it.
Sweet. So next up, we are talking about the XFL. So you're excited.
XFL. Yeah.
So
10 more weeks of football, baby.
Yeah, so-
Actually 12 can consider in the playoffs and championship.
So as of recording this, we're recording on Friday. This will be available on Monday after the XFL has
officially started. Yeah,
it made its debut. So what do you got for us on like for the XFL news or the review?
Yeah. So I just wanted to go over this is obviously before I'm watching any games, and so
Sure.
next week next Monday will be the culmination of that weekend, how it went. I'll probably be watching at least the Seattle Dragons game, if not more, on Sunday, depending on if my wife lets me.
Sure.
But because it is a lot of football if you think about it, like 2 games a day.
Yeah.
Each game being about almost 3 hours. That's 12 hours of just football. Yeah. I don't even know if I could do that, to be honest. But
yeah, exactly.
Anyway, yeah, I just wanted to kind of go through the roster and talk about a couple key players on the Seattle Dragons team. Mm-hmm. Now, I'll do my best to cover as much as I can about the XFL, but I'm pretty much going to be covering Seattle Dragons because that's going to be my team.
Sure.
Once you decide to pick a team, you could probably delve a little bit more into that.
Right, yeah.
If you wanted to. But I implore you, if you pick someone who's just winning, I'm going to be really pissed off. Like, pick a team because you want that to be your team, you know?
Yeah, no.
I'm okay if you do pick a team that wins, but just don't be a
bandwagoner.
Don't be a bandwagoner. Yeah, don't wait till the end of the season and be like, oh, well, the Seattle Dragons, they didn't win, so I'm not going to pick them. I'm picking the DC Defenders.
Chances are I might just pick the team that has the coolest logo.
That's essentially what I did.
Yeah.
And I wanted to be a close team so I could go watch games.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, like I said, I think I just have to watch like maybe a couple games and kind of maybe get a little more familiar with the players.
For sure.
I mean,
I might hate every player on my team.
You might, yeah.
I probably won't, but
who knows? But I don't know. It'll just be one of those things where it'll be a wait and see kind of thing. But
I could see you picking up the New York Guardians or the Battlehawks.
I mean, Battlehawks is a badass name here,
and it's a cool logo.
Yeah, exactly.
Like a sword with some wings.
Yeah, and then also the other logo that I really like. It's
Renegades.
Renegades, yeah. The Houston Renegades.
Yep.
Yeah, no, that's a really cool logo. So yeah, I don't know.
That would mean we're divisional rivals.
It would mean.
Yeah. That'd be fun. Anyway, so let's talk about quarterback. So they did come out and say who won the quarterback competition, and that was Brandon Silvers.
Okay,
so Brandon Silvers comes out of a lot of these guys have been out of college for a little while, at least a few years. And so Brandon Silvers was at Troy. Mm-hmm. He had a solid last 2 years of college. His AAF career wasn't great, but it was good. Like, I think he threw on average like 100, like if you want to say 800 yards total, but he didn't start every game either. So that there's kind of it's hard to kind of balance that.
Hard to quantify, but it's for what for the numbers that he does have or the available data that we have to go off of him, it's respectable.
Yeah, I mean, it looks like he had a terrible O-line because he got sacked 9 times in just a few games. But
yeah,
I mean, his completion percentage was 64%. He had 799 yards, 4 touchdowns. His longest play was only 40 yards. I guess that's not terrible, but he's not a super mobile quarterback. He's not running a lot. There's not a lot of stats on the AAF. I mean, he played for Memphis in the AAF.
Yeah.
That happened last year. Before that, he was at Troy, and at Troy, he actually had some decent stat lines. Like, at least it looks like here. Let's see, passing yards. I think this is it. I'm trying to. Oh yeah. I was just confused. There's a lot of numbers. So it looks like he may have started since he was a freshman. He had about 2,000 yards passing, 11 touchdowns, 3 interceptions. Not bad.
Not bad.
He had a 70.5 completion rate.
Mm-hmm.
Solid, pretty solid.
Yeah.
I mean, they're all 4 years are at Troy. So his sophomore year, he throws for almost 2,400 yards.
Okay.
He had 20 touchdowns that year.
Nice.
Pretty decent. 7 interceptions.
Yeah.
The year after, I mean, he kind of just upticks the whole time. 3,180 yards. So 3,180 yards. 23 touchdowns. And then his senior year, I don't know what happened. He regressed a little bit.
Okay.
It might have been like offensive changing. He had more yards. He had 3,290. So 3,290. And he only had 17 touchdowns, 7 interceptions. The year before, he had 12 interceptions. So he did lead him to a championship for the Sun Belt Conference. And so, I mean, he's not like in the big conferences and stuff like that. And this is obviously before kind of the format we have now for college. I mean, he's putting up some decent numbers. So I'm just I don't know a lot about the Troy offense. I watched some film. I mean, he's not throwing these huge passes like, you know, some of the NFL guys, and maybe that's why he's not playing in the NFL. He's, you know, more of a systems guy. And so I think he'll fit in pretty well with the Seattle O. Mm-hmm. Now, I'm not like, he doesn't have the best arm. I do like passing offenses, which, you know, it's probably going to be a more run-focused offense is what I'm guessing.
Yeah, you might be right on that one here. I mean, so how is their running back here?
So running back, that's Kenneth Farrow. So Kenneth Farrow, solid, you know, college career at University of Houston.
Okay.
He had 1,000+ yards from scrimmage in his last 2 seasons. He had 12 to 15 touchdowns in both of those seasons. Like those are legit numbers.
Yeah, no.
Now, as far as attempts go and stuff like that, I mean, his first 2 years he only had 86 attempts and then 103, and then it really moved up to 186 to 185. You know, his senior year was averaging 11.9 yards a carry.
Wow.
That's insane.
That's pretty good.
That's insane. Oh, I guess that's receiving. Sorry. 5.2. That's still good. I mean, he averaged more than 5 yards a carry his entire career at Houston.
Yeah, no, that's good.
So, I mean, and it looks like he can catch the ball. I mean, it's not crazy yards, but he's, you know, he might be kind of a dual threat kind of guy. I mean, I'm interested to see him play. Like I said, this might be like an old school Seattle run heavy, good defense type of scenario, kind of like with the Seahawks a couple years ago.
Yeah, kind of back in the Marshawn Lynch days.
Totally.
And all that. Yeah. No, it could be.
So, so he's going to be interesting. There's a couple. So what's really interesting is kind of how I think a lot of offenses are going to work. So they're bringing in a guy. His name's BJ Daniels. He's listed as a wide receiver. He played quarterback at Navy. Okay. And he was like a dual threat. Like he could run, he could pass. He could be kind of like that. Do you know Taysom Hill for the Saints?
I do not off the top of my head.
So Taysom Hill plays for the Saints, and he's actually their quarterback, but he plays a lot of wide receiver.
So kind of a jack of all trades.
Yeah, and I mean, essentially, he's going to replace Drew Brees. He's got an arm too, so like they could do some really tricky plays with BJ Daniels. BJ Daniels also, I believe, was on the Seattle Seahawks roster. A lot of these guys were, which is cool that they're getting like hometown people to play.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
So yeah, BJ Daniels, look for those double passes, because in the XFL you could do a forward pass as long as it's behind the line of scrimmage.
Yeah, I think that's going to be really, really interesting in terms of like strategy and plays that you see going on in there.
Oh yeah, for sure. So I'm trying to find where I have. I don't know if I have. Oh, I do have Kenneth Farrow's
numbers.
Oh, I have his. I'm trying to find BJ Daniels. I don't think I have him pulled up. Anyway, but yeah, BJ Daniels. Super cool guy. It seems like, you know. So yeah, we'll see. I think there's going to be a lot of players that get playing time in different schemes, and I mean, this is something you could even set this guy up, because he was a quarterback essentially, but he was kind of more like a play action guy who could run. Like he could really run, you know. And so he's athletic. He is a little undersized. I think he's only like 5'10", 5'11".
Okay.
Where Brandon Silvers is my height. 6'3", you know. Brandon Silvers is definitely not as athletic as far as like the run game goes. He doesn't have rushing ability, but I mean that's why they have guys like Kenneth Farrow and BJ Daniels in there, which these guys, could also, get a direct snap in the backfield and kind of cause some mismatches as far as, hey, I'm gonna run. I'm either gonna run or I can pass this ball too.
Yeah.
So a lot of mismatches. I'm excited to see all these guys. You got, a couple of their wide receivers, Kason Williams. He went to University of Washington. He's a hometown guy. Statistically, I know a lot of college teams are run-heavy teams. He had close to 900 yards and 6 touchdowns one season. I don't think he's anything that's going to be a huge difference maker as far as on the team. Keenan Reynolds is a wide receiver. Or sorry, I confused two guys. B.J. Daniels wasn't the Navy guy. That's my bad.
Oh, okay.
Keenan Reynolds is signed up as so forget everything I said about B.J. Daniels. Keenan Reynolds was a QB played for Navy, and he's listed as a wide receiver. So so just replace what I said with Keenan Reynolds, who could be in there causing some mismatches, who they could throw kind of quick screens to, could throw the ball pretty well. He played so well for Navy. He had his jersey retired. And so he's that dual threat, could rush as much as he can throw.
Mm-hmm.
And then if you look at the other side of the ball, if you look at the defense, the one guy I wanted to pick out because his numbers were kind of insane, and I'm surprised he's not doing anything in the NFL right now. Will Sutton, he's our defensive tackle. So he comes from the University of Arizona, and he has some insane stats.
Really?
At least his last year. I don't know if he was roiding or what. This.
They're all roiding.
He's a big boy too. It says his junior year, but he has 2 junior years, it looks like. So I'm guessing they met sophomore for one of them. But so his senior year at Arizona State in 2012, he had 41 solo tackles, 22 assists. So a lot of these he had 13 sacks by himself.
That's yeah.
That's a dominant player in my opinion.
Yeah, no.
I guess he did sign with Minnesota for a while, but
yeah, no. I'm kind of surprised the NFL didn't try to pick him up.
no, they did. He played for the Minnesota Vikings. They just cut him.
Really?
Sometimes that happens. Where you have an amazing season, you can't follow it up.
Yeah.
I'm glad we have a place for these guys to play. They're getting paid a little bit of money. And
again, getting a second chance at,
maybe they just need a little bit more experience and exposure to how fast the game is once you go professional.
Well, yeah, because the thing is in the NFL, it's it's kind of hard to really kind of break out just because most of the time, if you're new to it, unless you are legitimately signing a really good contract and your team needs a new quarterback stat or something like that, or a new position stat, and you have some good numbers and you have a better numbers than all the second string, third string guys and all that, it's really hard to actually get much notoriety in the NFL just because most of these people are starting out as backups here.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. So I'll talk about B.J. Daniels because I mixed up 2 guys there. But B.J. Daniels was a QB. Mm-hmm. He's a guy that probably could line up wide receiver. He had some really decent rushing yards. Again, kind of that dual threat guy. A lot of the seasons are pretty close to Braden Silver's. And again, Braden Silver's beat him out for the job, but that doesn't mean he's not going to play. I can see him lining up in the backfield. I can see him lining up wide for a wide receiver spot. So, yeah, we'll see what happens with him. He got drafted by San Francisco in 2013. I think he did some time in Seattle. We'll see kind of what happens with him.
Nice.
But yeah, that's kind of my standouts as far as their roster goes. There could be more. We'll see. And as these weeks unfold, we'll talk about more players in depth and whatnot. But overall, I think Seattle will be an old school Seattle team, heavy run, and a good defense.
Yeah.
So
sounds good.
Yeah.
Cool. So next up, over the weekend, I had a chance to watch a movie on Hulu called The Art of Self-Defense, which is a movie that stars Jesse Eisenberg. Came out last year, I think. And basically it's about Jesse Eisenberg. He's kind of a very beta male here. He is very soft-spoken, very kind of a loner, all this other stuff. Essentially gets beat up by a gang. And, he's trying to find, ways to defend himself here. So he goes from do I get a bigger dog? Do I get a gun? Eventually he lands on taking karate and he falls in love with it here. So he goes to this school that's kind of weird. like maybe a little.
Who's the sensei?
I don't know the name of the actor here, but basically it's the school's kind of weird, kind of, not exactly what you'd find in like most traditional schools. I won't spoil like what happens in it, but I mean, there's like, things that are a little off, but it's kind of like, this is also one of the things that is kind of like, providing him like the avenue to actually, defend himself and actually learn something. So in terms of like my opinion on this movie, it's not really great, to be honest with you. I mean, here's the thing. It's got some funny moments, like in Cobra Kai, that definitely reminded me of it. Like the Johnny Lawrence style. Like, you kind of have the sensei kind of channeled some of that same energy.
Right.
But it definitely has a weird tone, and I definitely think this would be considered a dark comedy for the most part. But overall, I mean, I think it's just a pass, to be honest with you. I mean,
good to know. Good to know.
Yeah, I mean, for people like you and me who've been to dojos, trained, that whole shebang, there's a little bit of stuff that you and I or people similar to us will enjoy.
Yeah.
But I mean, overall, it's like, maybe about 10 or 15 minutes of the movie I think are actually like what I would consider good quality, and then the rest is just kind of a waste of time.
Gotcha. Okay, well, yeah, pass on that then.
Yep.
Well, that's it.
Yep.
We are done for this week. Thanks for listening. We greatly appreciate it. Make sure you check us out on our social medias, Twitter, YouTube, and Facebook, and hit up that Patreon. Yep. Patreon.com/withnerds. And this week we have a Throwback Thursday coming out, looking at Christopher Nolan's Dark Knight trilogy, starting with Batman Begins. So that's going to be coming out Thursday this week. Batman Begins. We will see you then. Have an awesome week. And remember, everyone's a nerd about something.
Everybody.